Hello and welcome to part 2 of Dev Maths and Stats Refresher Course, Lecture 6. Now we're going to look at some simple calculations in Excel for carrying out stats analysis on large data sets, SPSS data and so on are far superior. However, the reason or one reason why people still use Excel a lot is that it can be easier just for quick calculations. Just want to do a few small things, it can be easier than firing some formulas into Stata, for example. And it's really good for simple what-if analysis. If this just changes, what difference will that make to something else? Okay, so one aim of the project, as I said, was to make the households healthy who had the filters. The other aim is to have this economic impact and a broader health impact. So earn income and spread the availability around. So what we assume is that each household will only use one filter. That's a big assumption because obviously big household might need two. So what we're going to do is we're going to work out how many are sold. Okay, so we're going to click on the N column, okay, above sick before, and the whole of column N becomes shaded, and then right click and insert. So we go to N, this here, and I'm going to click just there. And this is a right click, and you see that happens. And then what I'm going to go for is I want to click. Oh, I lost it. I'm hoping to click. Very glitch in the screen recording. On insert here, that's better. Okay, so click insert and it just moves everything over to the right. Okay, so that's made some space. We can put something in. Now a new blank column appears. We're going to put sales in cell N1. So I click up here, that's cell N1, click in sales, oops, sleighs, and then press return. So that's entered that. So that's given us a new variable title for this field. And here's the key part of the calculation. I'm going to enter this. In cell N2, I'm going to type equals M2 minus H2. So equals M2 minus H2. You don't need the capitals. And as you do that, notice that these get highlighted. So M2 refers to this one here, H2 refers to this one over here. So it shows you exactly what's going to happen. It's very visual. And then when you press return, you see a 6. Okay, so the next question is, what does that 6 mean? And answer to that is that 6 is, if I double click, I bring that back again, the number of filters minus the number of households. So we're assuming that, because in this group there's only one household, they made 7 filters, we're assuming that one filter was for their own use. So we're assuming they must have sold 6. So that's a bit of an assumption, but that's what we're doing the analysis based on it. As I said in some of the maths lectures, the problem isn't making assumptions, it's being aware of exactly what your assumptions are. So here we're assuming that any filters more than the number of households have been sold, and then when we're given away or broken. Okay, so when we started here with equals M2 minus H2, that equals tells Excel, hey look, here comes a formula. So anything beginning with an equals sign is treated as a formula. Okay, what should we put then into cell N3? Check you can do that. That's what I put into N2, so N3 should be N3, N3 minus, what column was it? H3. Okay. What did I forget? There's another question for you. Let me just emphasize that I forgot the equals sign. So you have to put equals. So here's equals M2 minus H2. Here's equals M3 minus H3, and we can see a 0 there because one household, they only made one filter. They didn't get into the business of selling them at all. They just made one for themselves and they were happy. Fine. Okay, so as we go down, we want this to be M2 minus H2, M3 minus H3, M4 minus H4, M5 minus H5, all the way down here. As the notes say, that would just take too long to do. But what we can do is we can copy it. So use Control C and paste Control V. Oops. Control C, so I'm pressing Control C. You see that little dotted line? This is really nice in Excel. It tells you that we've now copied this. Now I can just paste it to where I want it to go. Paste the rest of the column, paste. Okay, so select all the way down to here. Oh no. Got carried away to there. Then Control V. So it's copied the formula for us. Very nice. Just check that it's giving us the correct answers. Okay. If you look at the formulas in column N, can you see how they change? So here, if you look up here, that's this area, you can see we've got, let's try this again. Looking over here to see how it changes as we go down this column. So M2 minus H2, M3 minus H3, M4 minus H4, M5. So when we copied it, it didn't exactly copy, it's changed it. And Excel knows that, or another assumption here, it assumes that when you're copying down, you want the numbers to go up to, because the numbers are going up down here. So you're probably going to want to increase the numbers as you go down the formulas. When you copy things from left to right, it also updates the letters to move it from left to right. And almost all the time that's helpful. Sometimes that's not helpful. So copying and pasting always does this unless you specifically prevent it, as we described below. Okay, dependency ratio, something you'll all meet a lot if you have not already. Very widely used concept in international development. The idea is that household size is quite a rough measure. It doesn't tell us much about whether a household is going to have more or less difficulty surviving or doing well. Imagine you've got a household with 1 adult and 4 small children. Okay, so that's a household of 5 people, 1 adult, 4 small children. What about a household with 3 adults, 1 small child and an elderly retired person in a rural area which would have more difficulty with nutrition? Quite different. And the idea is that the first one has got a higher dependency ratio because there's 1 working age person, but there's 5 people dependent on that working age person. Here you've got 3 working age people and 5 people dependent on those 3. So dependency ratio is the number of people in a household not of working age, divided by the total household size. Unfortunately, it varies sometimes in different countries, but the kind of UN standard is 16 to 65. I think the WTI database uses that. Okay, so can you insert a column? So insert a column and add the extra variable dependency in between individual, 65 and gender, and then put a formula in L1 and copy it down to fill the column. So you should be getting numbers like this for the dependency ratio. So here, if you have not done this already, here you really should pause and make sure you can do this. Add the column, put in a calculation to give me the dependency ratio, make sure you get these numbers. Okay, so pause it and then unpause and see if it comes out the same as me. I'll try and do it. Insert that there. I'll call this dependency. It's the last thing I'm going to do, and then before we go on to the next video, I think. And then here. So what you're trying to get is the total number of people who are not working age. So equals, and you want to divide the whole number of non-working age people. So you need brackets. You want to add this together. Now I could type in. I can either type in equals. So I want J2 plus K2, or you can actually just click with the mouse, and that puts it in for you, plus K2. It's really visible. So that's the total number of people who are not of working age, and let's divide that by the total number of people altogether, total number of individuals. So I should get 0.5. Okay, so 0.5 is what you wanted. That's good. Once you've done that, you can just copy down the column. Oops, copy this down to the bottom, like so. There we go. So it's quite nice. Okay, final step in this video is another thing that confuses people when they ask me, they're confused about the data, is that it's really hard to kind of eyeball this and say what's going on. Just because the numbers are correct, but the lengths of digits that are presented to you are so different. Like this number isn't immediately obvious that it's basically the same as this one. And this one here is very close to the first one. So what you want to do is have standard numbers of decimal places. And it's really quick to do that. So you can go to column L. Okay. So if you go to column A, you can select them all, or you can just be lazy and click the top thing here. Actually, I might not do it. I can't remember. What an expert. That's what I'm doing. I actually have to select the numbers. Okay. So select the numbers, and then, oops. Then this button does your work for you. So this sets it to 2, and then that's going to give you more decimal places, fewer decimal places. So I'd go for probably either 2 or 3 is probably about right. And now it's really, you can just, it looks neat. You can really easily compare at a glance which ones have got higher and lower. So I'd recommend that you try and trim things to the same number of decimal places using that easy method to make your data just more easy to eyeball. Because advanced statistical tests are great, but it's nice to be able to just get a feel for the data by looking at it before you start choosing which test to use. Okay, so in the next short video, we're going to look at what-if analysis. But for now, thanks for watching.